Alright, sweet. Hi guys. Welcome to yoga part 2. Alright, I'm just getting set up and you're going to be witnessing my getting set up process. Okay, sweet. So, gonna make sure my yoga mat's in frame. Alright, sweet. So, I have something on here already. Hi, welcome if you weren't here last week. But if you were here last week, same thing as last week. All you need is just 2 pillows. For those of you who are watching, if you could please comment to tell me that you can hear me, that would be sick. And I'm really sorry if you can hear my dishwasher in the background. It was supposed to have turned off like 30 minutes ago, but I'm not really sure what's going on. Yeah, I'm gonna see if any of you guys have commented. Just tell me that you can hear me. Getting nice up close and personal. Okay, thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it. All right, sweet. Yeah, we still have a little bit of time. For those of you just logging in, and for those of you who've been here, you're gonna hear me say it a million times what you need for this class. Okay, and you're gonna see me crawl. Thank you, Ariana. You're gonna see me crawl towards my phone every single time there is a comment because my vision is not that great. So, for those of you who I do have right with me right now, actually, just kidding, let me go and get the clock, a little timer. Alright, sweet, I'm back. Hey guys. Oh, hi Jenny. Alright, little disclaimers because I got about 2 minutes with you guys. You just need 2 pillows. You don't even need a yoga mat. If you want to do this in bed, you can do this in bed. I try to make this as friendly to everyone as I can. That includes procrastinators. So if you want to stay in your bed for this, stay in your bed for this. The time zone did just change, so if you're feeling extra tired, it is all good to want to go to bed right after this. For today's focus, we're going to be kind of opening up through the upper body, especially because a lot of us are seated for the majority of our day now at this point, or we always have been, or for those of you who are a little bit more active, now you're really kind of stuck sitting a little bit more often than not. What we tend to do is kind of roll our shoulders in, our posture's a little bit bad. So we're gonna start to reverse that today. And then also, if for any of you who kind of struggle with that feeling of like a weight kind of sitting on your chest, this is also to kind of help alleviate some of those sensations. And yeah, if you have really tight shoulders, you might want to grab a towel just for maybe one of our poses that we do have, but for the most part, you should be fine. You have lots of options. And okay, can you please turn? I can't turn it to landscape or else it comes on as sideways. And yeah. So yeah, also you guys might get really cold during this practice, so if you want blankets, extra clothes, stuff like that, you'll probably really want it, especially because we are doing these things for really long holds. But yeah, so everyone just coming to a seat at the top of your mat. Right now you don't need your pillows or anything else. We're just gonna start by taking a side stretch. So inhale the left arm high, plant your right arm down on the ground, and exhale, just take your left arm over to the right. Inhale, come on back through center, ground the left hand down, exhale, right arm over to the right. Or I'm sorry, over to the left. And we're just gonna kind of go back and forth between those motions. Just starting with a little bit of fluid motion here, getting the body to kind of open up, especially through the side bodies. If you've kind of been sat down and hunched over all day, just getting a lot of good opening through this class. If your right arm is overhead right now, focus on grounding your right hip a little bit more into the mat. And you might just start to close the eyes. Tune in with how it is the body's really feeling today. Just focus more on how this is feeling. Forget about how it looks right now. Just tuning in with the body. And once you're kind of getting a good sense of the body, really feeling the sits bones ground down into the mat. Feeling the stretch go all the way up through the fingertips. Closing the eyes, see if you can relax the face. Your pace might start to slow down, speed up. You can read the comments. Keep doing your thing, guys. And then, okay, sweet. And yeah, so then start to just bring your awareness into your breath. Start to let it just slow down. Notice where your natural pace of breathing is. And then from here, you'll just come back up to a seat at your mat. Let your arms come long by your side. Take a moment, just close the eyes. Let the hands just rest down on the thighs. Seeing if you can kind of spot that difference between the left and right side body. Can you feel that openness? And then from here, if you're comfortable keeping the legs like this, feel free to just keep the legs like this. If this is starting to get a little bit uncomfortable on the knees, you can choose to take a pillow and just sit the hips back on the pillow. It can just be a little bit more comfortable. If you want to extend your legs to straight, extend your legs to straight. Whatever feels good on the lower body while we're here. And then from here, we're just going to take a shoulder stretch. So reaching the right arm up high, you'll put a bend in the right arm. And then your left arm will reach behind your back and between your ribcage. And I'm going to turn around so you can actually see what it is my hands are doing. And I'll move my hair out of the way. And hopefully I'm still in this. But you're trying to get the hands to touch. And this is where I was saying maybe if your shoulders are feeling super tight, you might want to rag. But I'm not all that concerned about the fingers interlocking or anything like that. But just having those shoulders be going in those directions. Relaxing the fingers, especially as it is the end of the day. Just allow yourself to be calm and be gentle in this pose. And from here, we're going to start to add a neck stretch in. So start to take your gaze down to the bottom left corner of your mat. So if you're doing the same arms as me and your right arm is the one that's lifted up, your head's just going in the opposite direction. Take a moment to close your eyes. Notice the breath. And then start to shift that awareness towards your right shoulder. Just seeing how that feels. If this pose is too much at all, or the sensations are a little bit too intense, that they're speaking too loudly, then you can just bring that right arm out of this. Making sure that you're in a version of this pose that is sustainable and that actually feels good. And then start to shift your awareness over to your left shoulder. How does it feel here? Same options apply. What feels good on one shoulder might not feel so good on the other. And then starting to unwind, let those arms come back down to your side. Take a moment, roll the shoulders out a little bit. For me especially, that kind of lifted arm gets a little bit more sore than the other. And then whenever you're ready, you'll start to just make your way into the other side. Left arm goes high, put a bend in the left arm. Right arm goes behind the back. Fingers might interlace, hands might touch, or they might not. Sometimes by getting a grip on the hands, it can be a little bit too intense on the shoulder blades. But just getting the arms nice and settled first. Closing the eyes. And then start to let your head fall away from that top arm. So head's gonna go over to the right if your left arm's lifted high. Noticing how this side feels. For me, I know the left side of my neck is a lot tighter than the right side of my neck. No idea why. So you might notice something really similar, or maybe the opposite. Staying as you are, just gonna read the comments. Do you have tips if we can't touch your other hand at all? So if you can't touch your other hand at all, focus on whatever shoulder you want. So if you want to keep, so like I was saying, you don't really have to get your hands to touch at all. There doesn't have to be any weight going through the fingertips. It's just the motion of having this arm going this way and this arm going in the opposite direction. If you would prefer to just do one arm at a time, feel free to do that if that's what you're comfortable with. And then just looking down toward the corner. And then just starting to unwind. You can just let the arms come out. It's most definitely a long hold. It's all right if it doesn't feel, kind of super great. It's just really good to reverse the day of sitting down. But rolling out the shoulders, take a moment, just close the eyes here. Let your hands rest on your thighs. Taking the body back to a neutral position, feeling that difference between now versus 5 minutes ago. And from this part, we are gonna add in just a little lick of lower body opening. So extending your right leg out, put a bend in your left knee. The sole of your left foot is resting on the inside of your right thigh. Now, if you have really open hamstrings, you might choose to stay exactly like this. Or if you're like me, you might just choose to take one of your pillows, fold it in half, and just slide it underneath the right knee, just so that there's a nice little bend there. And then from here, we're gonna come into eagle arms, which some of you at home might have groaned a little bit, which is perfectly fine. It's just good to do the opening. So taking the left arm underneath the right, you're gonna try to see if you can get the biceps and then your forearms to wrap around each other, getting your hands to go around each other like this. Now, if immediately this is just feeling like way too much for you, just choose to hold opposite shoulders instead. You'll still be getting that same stretch, just a little bit less intense. And if holding shoulders is still too intense, just be a little bit looser on your grip. But for those of you who can wrap the forearms around each other, seeing if that feels good. Trying to find about what you consider 50% sensation. Not pushing yourself straight to your edge. Knowing that you'll be in this pose for a significant period of time, so it's going to get more intense as time goes on. And you can choose to stay here, or on your exhale, you might choose to fold the body forward a little bit. The folding forward won't necessarily make the upper body more intense, but it will start to get that opening through the hamstring and a little bit of release through the lower back. Taking a moment to notice the breath here, especially in a pose that is not that comfortable for most of us. You might be holding on to your breath a little bit, or the pace might have picked up. Trying to bring the breath back down and allow yourself to have those nice slow exhales that really let you relax into this. And then slowly just starting to unwind. You'll come back up, unwind the arms. Take a moment, straighten out the left leg. You can keep the right leg straight. I'm just gonna nod the head side to side. Again, roll the shoulders out. And as you're ready, you'll just make your way into the other side. So putting a bend into the right leg this time. And then taking that pillow, if you want it, sliding it underneath the left knee. And then from here, we're gonna take the right arm underneath the left. I know that this can be a really tangly pose, but you'll know if you've just done the other side, because your neck will be telling you that it's a little bit too much. So with the left leg extended, it's the right arm underneath the left. Seeing if this side feels any different than the other. Just taking a moment to close the eyes. Settle into this pose. Allow yourself to just feel your body here. Taking a deep breath in. And a slow breath out. Relax the jaw here. Relax the forehead. Allowing yourself to be soft even in a pose of discomfort. Again, you have that option, if it's too much here, to just hug opposite shoulders instead. And then from here, you have those options to, again, fold forward. If you folded forward on one side, I recommend doing it on the other. Starting to unwind, you'll gently come back up to a seat at your mat. Let the arms unwind. And that is it for the super upper part of your shoulders and opening through that part. We're going to be mostly working in the other direction now. So just take a moment in a nice, comfortable seat, whatever that is for you. Closing the eyes. Just feeling that difference in the shoulders now versus when we started practice. And from here, we're just gonna make our way into a puppy pose. As far as your pillows go, you won't need them for this pose. You can just place them at the top of your mat. Whatever works. I'm going to move my hair off to the side, but coming on to all fours, take a moment, really trying to keep the hips stacked above the knees. You'll just start to walk your hands forward, and then exhale, start to sink your chest down towards the mat. Now for some of you, it might feel a little bit more natural to come up onto your fingertips, which my pillows are super hiding my hands. This is a really good pose to start to go into the opposite direction with the chest, especially, like I was saying, when we have our shoulders rolled in, our chest is quite closed up. This is just a great counteractive pose to just help you open the heart back up. If it would feel more comfortable for your head, you can choose to place the head on a pillow. Just really trying to keep the hips stacked on top of the knees. Letting your chest melt towards the mat. Finding your own ways to get heavy here. To allow yourself to become soft. Checking in with the body here. If this is too much, just come out of it a little bit. If you would feel more comfortable diving a little deeper, then absolutely go for it. If your head is resting down on one ear, just take a moment to turn your head over to the other side. We'll start to just make our way out of this pose, walking your hands back, start to lift the chest up and off the mat, grabbing for one of your pillows if you don't already have it. Let your big toes come to touch, spread the knees nice and far apart, and exhale, just start to melt the chest onto the pillow. From here, we'll just start to add a twist. So lifting the right arm enough, you're gonna slide the left arm through, thread the left arm through, left shoulder comes down to the mat, left ear to the pillow. If you feel more comfortable not using the pillow so that your head can go all the way down to the mat, of course feel free to do that. If this is feeling a little bit too much, a way to come out of this is by folding the pillow on top of itself to lift the head a little bit higher. Just finding something that you can settle into and stay in. Starting to notice the breath once again. Starting to slow the pace down. Keeping the breathing nice and gentle. Imagine that with those exhales, you're able to melt into the mat, to really get heavy. Starting to just make your way into the other side. Let your left arm return to the top of the mat, and then exhale, thread the right arm underneath. Right shoulder comes down, right ear down. Starting to unwind, just start to press the chest back up. Coming to a seat at the back of your mat. Just taking whatever is comfortable, take a moment to rest here. Scanning the body. And from here, we're just going to start to make our way back onto our backs. So from here, everyone is going to need their 2 pillows. So firstly, we're going to come into our child's pose, and depending, or not child's pose, fish pose, depending on your pillow and also your chest. If you can, I would recommend trying to fold it into thirds. So it is kind of like as tall and fluffy as you can get it. And then from here, you're just going to place that down in the middle of your mat and trying to get that pillow as fluffy and as tall as you can. You just start to recline the back down so that the pillow's going all the way up through the shoulder blades and kind of supporting the upper back. And then taking that other pillow, you'll just fold it in half and then put it underneath the head and neck to give that upper body some extra support. And then from here, you're going to spread your arms as wide as you can, letting your palms face up towards the ceiling. If this is a little bit too uncomfortable on the chest, have that option to bend the legs, add a bend in the knees. Also, if your low back is a little bit uncomfortable being directly down on the floor like this, you can also bring a bend in the legs. Personally, if I'm ever having a day where I feel just like super anxious or that sensation of a weight kind of sitting on my chest, this is my #1 kind of pose to just help open it up and release that. For a majority of the poses that we've been doing tonight, we've been opening a lot up through the muscles, so the sensations have been kind of intense for a lot of them. But for this type of pose, this is where we're getting into the fascia or the connective tissue that kind of links all of the body together. So this is something that can help to support the muscles and helping the shoulders to stay rolled back. Help the body open up in the opposite direction. Allowing yourself to get as heavy here as you can. Knowing that all you have to do here is simply just give in to gravity to get the very most out of this pose. Using your breath as a tool to unwind and to melt. Sometimes when we're in some of these poses for, those longer periods of time and your body really starts to get settled here, it's kind of when your thoughts will start to pick back up. The brain can start to get a little bit busier, especially if we're maybe in a pose that makes us a little bit uncomfortable. And if you want to sort through those thoughts and go through them, then absolutely feel free to do that if that's what you need. However, if you're just at the end of your day and you're just trying to get the mind to be a little bit quiet, the two main things that I do is to first focus in on the breath, then really start to focus in on those sensations of the body. How do the shoulders feel in this? How does the chest feel? Letting that awareness just travel down through your arms, out through the fingertips. That awareness might travel farther down the body, whether it's towards the low back or the legs. Just really taking this moment to feel your body as it is. And it's sometimes as we scan our bodies that we kind of come across some tension that we didn't know we were holding on to. And if you find that, see if you can let go, see if you can relax deeper here. And then just starting to unwind. Just start to roll on to whatever side works for you, just to take the pillows out from underneath you. Taking at least one of your pillows over to your left side of your legs. You can choose to keep the head rested on the other pillow if that's what makes you feel most comfortable here. Straightening the legs towards the bottom of your mat. Take a moment to reset here. Your inhale, you'll start to pull the right knee into the chest, give it a little squeeze. Your left hand will come to the outside of your right thigh, and exhale, guide the leg across the body and onto that pillow. If there's a lot of space between your right knee and the floor, you can take that pillow and fold it in half to create a little bit more support for your body here. You might adjust your head pillow and let your head roll over to the right. And then from here, you're going to start to put a bend in your left leg, so your bottom leg. So just putting a bend in that, as big of a bend or as little of a bend feels comfortable. Grabbing your left foot with your right hand. Allowing that grip to just be nice and gentle. Your left hand might choose to stay resting on top of that right thigh. If holding on to that bottom foot, onto that left foot is a little bit too much strain, then just let it go. Finding something that you can relax in, that you can basically pretend you're going to sleep in, where every muscle in your body gets to just relax here. Nothing has to be active and nothing's activated. And as you're laying here, just start to notice the body once again. Feeling the different points of your body that are in contact with the floor, the mat, or your bed. Just taking a moment to really feel the ground beneath you. Releasing the weight of your body into whatever is beneath you. Imagining that you have roots growing down out of your body and deep into the floor. Taking a moment to check in with the mind, check in with the thoughts. I was saying, sometimes when the body gets too settled, the mind starts to speed things back up. Take that moment to check in with yourself, to re-ground yourself. Connecting with the breath and the sensations of your body. And then just slowly start to unwind, re-extending the left leg down to the bottom of the mat. Slowly start to bring the right leg back through center. Re-extending the right leg along to the bottom of the mat, taking that pillow that's down by your legs and just moving it over to the other side. From here, your inhale, you'll pull the left knee into the chest. Your right hands will come to the outside of the left thigh, and as you exhale, take it across the body. Taking that same amount of time here to get set up, maybe adding that bend in the pillow to help rest the left knee on. what this side might feel a little bit different to you, might feel tighter, might feel more open. So it's not necessarily the same variation for this pose. It's going to feel as good on this side, and it's going to be the right thing for you to do here. But as you're ready, just start to add that bend back into the bottom leg, into the right leg. And then your left hand will reach down to grab the right foot. Seeing how that feels. Is your left hand relaxed as it grabs the foot? If not, then just release the foot. Still keep the bend in the still keep the bend in the right leg. But just allow the hand to be soft. Making whatever micro adjustments you need to here to make yourself more comfortable. And start to settle in. Checking in with your body here. Noticing if there's anything you can do to adjust yourself to make yourself a little bit more comfortable here. And then just starting to feel those points where the body's in contact with the floor. Letting the body get heavy. Seeing if you can relax through the fingertips, all the way up to relaxing your jaw, to relaxing any tension that might be hiding in your face. Relaxing the forehead down, keeping the eyes closed. So starting to slowly unwind, you guys. Just gently start to straighten your right leg back out. Bring your left knee slowly back through center. And from here, we'll just start to make our way into our final pose. So taking your pillow, you'll just sit the body upright. Folding your pillow in half. You're now going to place this pillow towards the lower part of the back and then start to recline down. This is very similar to our fish pose, except we want our shoulders to ground down onto the mat here. You might choose to keep the pillow that's underneath your head on its flattest level, or you might choose to fold it to give yourself a little bit more elevation here. Letting your arms spread out nice and wide, maybe spreading the legs a little bit farther apart if that feels natural to you. Coming into this nice supported savasana. Taking these moments here to scan the body one more time. Starting at the head, let your awareness travel all the way down through your body. Allowing yourself to relax, to give in. Please feel free to stay in this savasana for as long as you'd like, or feel free to just go straight to bed after this. Again, my name is MacKenzie, so thank you guys for joining me tonight. I hope you sleep great and that day 12 went good for you guys. Namaste.